Alright, fellas, welcome back to the yapping session. Because I'm bored and haven't uploaded in a minute, and we got snowed in, so no basketball game today, so I imagine this ends up going up on Monday or either that or early, since Tuesday morning. Right next to me. So, today's yap, we're going to be talking about the Dream versus Tommy Innit situation. Obviously, the community posted about it yesterday. I didn't say who the YouTubers were, but I imagined a lot of people assumed who I was talking about. Now, I just like to clarify one thing. I don't really take a stance on this. I never really watched either of them. I don't watch a lot of Minecraft YouTube coming up when I was a kid anyway, to be honest. Much less the Dream SMP. I was always a big Technoblade fan. I was a Preston Plays fan for a long time, and then he stopped doing the kind of content I like to watch, so I stopped watching him. And Techno was really the only Minecraft YouTuber I always watched, so I don't really have a super opinion on this. But I will give, I don't have any bias, is what I'm trying to say. I do have an opinion on this, and I'll talk about it at the end of the video. Let's hop right into it. And I'll start with a brief history, and when I mean brief, I mean very long history. It's literally just like Twitter post after Twitter post after Twitter post and text messages. It's brutal. So, basically this starts when, well, it starts a little bit before Dream calls Tommy's fans retarded on Twitter. Well, he kind of infers it, that some of Tommy, well, he explains this in his live stream, and I'll talk about that later. It's really started with XQC and Tommy were fighting about something on Twitter. Honestly, until like 2 days ago, I really didn't know what this was all about. But I saw Tommy and Tubbo release those videos that just so happened to pop up in my recommended. And I watched them to see what was going on. And basically, Tommy started calling Dream like a bunch of very bad things that I can't say on my channel because I'm family friendly. So basically, Tommy responds to Dream's pretty bad tweet by telling his audience at first that Dream called them all retards. I know that word is not nice for the algorithm, but it's not necessarily a curse word, and I'm just trying to clarify what he did actually say. So, yes, moving on. And then Tommy just starts going on this whole rant about how Dream is this awful human being. He first accuses him of being a massive sexist, like for some reason, which is not even relevant to the situation. But for some reason, Tommy immediately comes out and starts calling him all these names. And I'm not trying to offend any potential liberals that watch my channel. Don't take this offense to it. But like a true liberal, he just starts accusing this dude of doing all these things that have absolutely nothing to do with the situation at hand. Tommy also accused Dream of manipulating him, which there is proof of that. I have heard stuff about that, of Dream manipulating younger YouTubers, by making them pay off debts and stuff that when he helped them at the time, he has to get revenue or whatever. I don't really know all the details, but I know he has done that before, so that's not really necessarily surprising. Then Tommy goes on to repeat what I just said. Tommy also accuses Dream of being lazy, which, I mean, if you've seen Dream's upload schedule as of recent, it's pretty true. Tom claims Dream is ruining the internet, which is a ridiculous claim because there's plenty of good things on the internet. However, there's plenty of bad as well, and even if Dream is one of the bad things, which we will discuss here, he certainly is not ruining the internet, and Tommy is way overboard with this, in my opinion. Dream, quote unquote, harassed Tommy's mom, according to Tommy, while she's going through a divorce. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Tommy then accuses Dream of trying to divide him from his mother. Again, talk about that later. Tommy accuses Dream of lying to his fans, mainly on the basis that he said he was going to start uploading consistently again, and he has uploaded 4 videos since he said that. And he said that like almost 2 years ago. So He does have something to stand on that. Don't worry about the background noise. Those are my brothers being funny. Anyway, moving on. Tommy says that other YouTubers feel the same way about Dream as he does. Obviously, we don't know this because Tommy is talking from only his point of view. Obviously, the only people who have said this, who have spoken out about it, are Tommy's really good buddies like Quackity and Tubbo. Even though Tubbo's had more, surprising to me at least, Tubbo's had much more of a kind of centrist stance on this whole situation, which I think is very interesting. I watched his reaction video, and I think it's interesting that he's not instantly siding with Tommy. It's nice to see Tubbo can think for himself. And then Tommy basically tries to tell Dream to seek help. So that was pretty much Tommy's response video. It's only like 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It's not that long, which makes you think like Tommy doesn't actually have a lot to say on Dream and doesn't have actually a lot of dirt on Dream. He just said a bunch of stuff and accused him. Again, it's just weird that Tommy only has that many things to say if he's really trying to cancel Dream, if you know what I'm saying. So, all right, now we'll move on to Dream's response, which is a Twitch stream the other day, or I think it might have been yesterday, I can't remember. It was 3 hours long, which means Dream actually looks like he actually is fully willing to talk for an extremely long time to his fans about actual like bad situations. And Dream starts it all the way from the beginning and then he accuses Tommy of starting drama with XQC. Obviously, that was where we led into, which was actually happening. They're arguing on Twitter like little girls. Dream is annoyed because Tommy threw dirt at him for being a Trump supporter. And of course, I'm not going to ever judge you about your political beliefs on this channel. It's not what I do. It's not what I really care about. Ultimately, Christ is the number one. Christ is above politics always. So if I don't really care who wins in any election, it's just I let God be the glory. So I'm just making sure you as an audience know that I don't really care who you support on this channel. I just hope you enjoy the content and have a fun time. Dream then accuses Tommy of doing all this for views, which you would think might be true because Tommy has done that before. Dream explains that he was not discriminating against disabled people when he called Tommy's viewers retards. Dream then claims to be autistic, which, I mean, have you seen the guy? It would not shock me at all. And also his mannerisms, and it's nothing against disabled people. If you're a disabled person watching this, I love you as much as anyone else, as much as the next person, and I really hope. I mean, I have a bunch of disabled kids in my school, and they're all really awesome people. So I have absolutely no problem with you if you're disabled at all. Just putting that out there. This is where it kind of gets Jurassic, I think, on Dream's part after him saying this. He then accuses pretty much the entire internet of having a double standard because he basically was being like, Dream would go on to say that he was shut down from being critical of another dude who was making worse slurs than he was because he was neurotypical. So Dream then goes on to accuse the entire internet of having a double standard, which I think to accuse literally everyone, I don't think it's what he meant, but it's how he said it. So I'm just going to take it how he said it, and I'm saying Dream accusing the entire internet of having a double standard and not giving people equal freedom of speech is absolutely ridiculous. Dream is completely overreacting here, and I have no idea what he's doing. I will give Dream some props, and this is part of the reason I think Dream is probably more on the right in this situation. He's not sugarcoating his mistake, and he does fess up. And that was one of the things that Tommy said. It was like, nothing's ever his fault, and this and this and that. And Dream comes out and immediately says, yeah, it's my fault. I shouldn't have said that stuff about Tommy's fans. So I think that's really stand-up of him. Was it just to prove Tommy wrong? Maybe. was Dream actually taking responsibilities for his actions? Maybe. We don't know the inner workings and the minds of these people. At least I don't. Maybe some of y'all do. Freaking psychiatrists over here. Anyway, I hope if you're a psychiatrist, you're not watching this channel, because that would be embarrassing on your part. I ain't complaining, but, like, you guys got better things to do. Anyway, moving on. Dream is, like I said this earlier, Dream is right about some people having double standards, which is very true if you've seen the internet, especially Twitter. A lot of people talk, like, they will say something is fine for other people, and, like, something else is fine for another. And I'll just give an example. Saying all people can't be racist is ridiculous. I mean, that is a ridiculous double standard. And if you believe that just because, I mean genuinely, that's one of the biggest double standards in today's society, saying that you can't be you can't be racist because of the race you are. That's 100% not true. Any race can be racist. Racism is not specifically for a specific group of people. It's any other group of people being racist toward other people. So, like, Hitler, racist toward the Jews, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. Dream acknowledges that he shouldn't use that type of language, and that's what I said. Like, he shouldn't. Like, he did a good job of his apology and trying not to offend anyone else. And he said that, and again, that's directly disproving Tommy's point that Dream never takes responsibility for his actions, which is, I mean, again, like, he could just be doing this to. I'll never put out the fact that Dream just could be doing this for just to prove him wrong, but of course, like, we don't know that, so I'm just going to imagine that he actually is sorry about it, and he didn't really mean to offend anyone by that, and I don't think he did. Dream would then admit that he was attacking some Tommy viewers that were massive Dream SMP stans. Tommy Dream SMP stans, more specifically, and again, like, that's the whole. He's admitting to his mistakes, and he's admitting things that he shouldn't have done in the past. Again, it's still disproving Tommy's point there. Dream is right about the lying, yes, because there were a lot of YouTubers on the SMP that at the time were fine with him, but now they don't like him, and it's a very much of a Tommy thing. Tommy has definitely drawn, and I don't know if any of y'all watched the Dream SMP, because I did pay attention to the story of the Dream SMP. It's very similar to what things are like in real life. Like, Tommy comes into the server, annoys the crap out of Dream. Dream tries to lock him up, and Tommy keeps being a problem until it eventually turns Dream into a megalomaniac. I mean, that's the storyline. I'm not saying Dream is a megalomaniac in real life, because I don't think he is, but that it's just kind of, it's very similar to this situation. Makes it look very similar. So Dream would then say Tommy sent him jokes about being a pedophile for absolutely no reason before obviously he had those pedophile allegations come out a little over a year ago. Again, like, I think that's just Dream thinking too far into it, and that might be from maybe his claimed autism or whatever it is, but I think personally that's just Dream overreacting, but that's my personal opinion. Dream didn't want bad publicity, which is fair, so he distanced himself from Tommy, especially if Tommy was making all those pedophile jokes, all those messages came out, were leaked, and then obviously that would stoke the flame of the situation where he was being accused of being a pedophile, obviously. So obviously that's smart by Dream, and it's not completely uncalled for. And here's a picture of a message that Dream sent to Tommy after he wanted Tommy to stop sending all these weird vile things to him. Leave it up on the screen there for about 5 more seconds. And if you want to pause the video, you can. We'll read it if you want. Tommy, being young and kind of stupid, didn't realize he was hurting Dream at the time, which, actually, I'll just leave the message up there, I guess. obviously was very confused by, like, kind of like me in a way. Like, he's very confused by why Dream was taking this so offensively. Obviously, pedophile allegations are not anything to sneeze at. I mean, they're extreme, really bad allegations, especially if they come true. But obviously they didn't come true. But it does not explain why Dream chose not to address the allegations immediately. Like, it took him like 8 months to make a response video after the allegations came out. He just kind of tried to ignore it, kind of like Mr. Beast recently, just completely ignoring the Ava Chris Tyson situation for like months. I mean, obviously it's probably a lawyer's thing, and lawyers want to investigate and yada yada yada. So I totally get why Dream didn't immediately address the allegations, but 8 months, it should not have taken that long. Jimmy took about 3 months to address the allegations, just for context. Dream didn't want to respond to false allegations because it's bad publicity. Again, like, that's not really surprising. Dream was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I mean, that's true. Because the allegations and everyone attacking him about it, like, you guys don't understand. As soon as these allegations came out, everyone took it as gospel. Like, everyone thought Dream was 100% a pedophile, and he totally did it. And if he came out and said something about it, he probably would have gotten even more bad publicity, especially if he had actually no proof to disprove that he was actually a pedophile. And that's why he said he didn't respond. Which is, again, like, that's a pretty reasonable thing, and of course he wanted to handle things privately. So so it seemed like Dream was sweeping it under the rug, but in reality he just wanted to take care of his personal problems privately with the people who accused him, with his lawyer, etc., which makes perfect sense. Dream doesn't want his entire life to be on the internet. I don't want it to be either, which is why I haven't shown my face. But yes, that bet is still on. If the Bills win the Super Bowl, I will face reveal on this channel, I promise. I'm a massive Bills fan. Alright, moving on. Dream then reacts to videos with obvious bias, like Quackity talking about Quackity talking about Dream server and manipulative Dream, yada yada yada, all that stuff. And then Dream also then reacts to Tommy's mom responding to fans on Twitter. And obviously, it's a tough situation for Tommy's mom because she has absolutely no idea to do PR. And she's stuck between a rock and a hard place because she feels like she needs to protect Tommy. But she also looks really bad because she's arguing with 16-year-old Dream stands on the internet. So obviously Tommy's mother is in a really bad situation. And Tommy clears it, and Dream is good to clear it up here by, he says he didn't harass Tommy's mom. He just messaged her to make sure that he personally doesn't enjoy, he doesn't endorse his fans' personal attacks on her and Tommy. And then, of course, like, this whole situation, it really just seems like Tommy is taking it the wrong way, and it's rubbing Tommy the wrong way, and it's just, I mean, it's kind of a brutal situation in that kind of sense. So that's pretty much the entire recap. Now you get my personal opinion. Obviously, I already said I was a big Dream SMP fan, and I already said I only really watched to see Technoblade because he's by far the best character, and that's not even debatable. If anyone in the comments goes to say that anyone else is the best character in Dream SMP, you're lying. It's not even because he's dead, it's just because he was by far the most interesting character. Again, I've kind of hinted at the whole video, I am going to side with Dream here, because although, okay, of course, he's not 100% innocent. He didn't really address the manipulation allegations or the sexism allegations that Tommy made, but he had great counter arguments for a bunch of other allegations or accusations that Tommy had thrown his way, and Dream just is making way more intelligent arguments, and I think that just proves the maturity of Dream. Dream is probably about 4 to 5 years older than Tommy. I think Tommy's only 21, and Dream is almost 30 now, so maybe like 7 or 8. I'm not sure. And I think that just kind of proves that, Dream is just a generally more mature person, and Tommy trying to act like he's a more mature person when he did his response video to Dream's tweet is simply wrong, because he did act like he was way more mature, and I just don't think that's the truth at all. And of course, he was humble enough to admit that calling Tommy's fans retarded was stupid and that he shouldn't have done it. And of course, that directly counters the claim that Tommy made, in which he said Dream never took responsibility for his actions. Dream also clears up some context with history and openly shows the audience his past messages, including messages with Tommy's mom and messages with Tommy directly right before they really stopped talking to each other, which is extremely mature by Dream and extremely humble to do that, because obviously showing that stuff on camera exposes the private lives of these guys, and it really puts Dream out there, and I think that's just extremely mature. And obviously, I'm sure that there's stuff that we haven't seen, like parts of Tommy's side that just hasn't been proved. But if Tommy was going to actually make an actual response video, it wouldn't have been 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I'm sorry. Dream did this thing for 3 friggin' hours to respond to Tommy's 5-minute video. So if he's going to do that, Dream is extremely mature in trying to get his fans trying to win back his fans, I would say, because this situation is ridiculous. And it definitely seems like Tommy contradicts himself a lot, especially when he initiated the drama. It was really him that initiated the drama, even though Tommy had accused... I would say, no, Dream more contradicts Tommy, not Tommy contradicting Tommy. Tommy says that Dream initiated the drama when he said that tweet. In reality, he was in drama with someone else, and then Dream stepped in and was like, "You're an idiot," and then Tommy wasn't happy about it, and then Dream made a tweet that he shouldn't have made. That's really what happened. And Tommy he insulted Dream and his decision to support President Trump and whatever else, or whatever political agenda. Which, by the way, just a side note of thought, I just don't get why British YouTubers try and act like they know more about American politics than we do. It's extremely arrogant and stupid. And I'm not calling British people stupid, but I am calling them arrogant, because a lot of British people are super arrogant. And you'll almost never see Americans act like a lot of Americans barely know how our political system works. How the frick do you think we know what the British government works? And we don't care about what the British government runs like. We just don't care. Obviously I know, because I've done research on it, but it's there's the vast majority of Americans couldn't give less of a crap about the British government and how the elections happen and your election opinions. I do not care about... I couldn't name you, other than Sunak, I could not name you a single British politician. Because that's how much I don't care. So, they have to stop acting like they know more than us about our own freaking government, because they don't. It's a similar situation. We don't act like we know their government. At least a vast majority of Americans don't, from what I've seen anyway. Anyone who does is just dumb. If you know more about the actual nationality, I'm sure there's some British people that know a lot about American government, especially the British elites. But if the British commoner is just talking about how Trump or Kamala are just a horrible person, what do you know? You don't know anything. You're not here. You don't know how it runs. You don't know the prices. It's just ridiculous. And that's sorry to get sidetracked, but I just had to put that out there. And back to the main point, it just seems like Tommy has no idea what he's saying half the time, especially when Dream responds, and it's proved, because at the time I'm recording this, Tommy still hasn't made an explanation, unless he's prepping one of those hour and a half long explanations, which is what he should be doing. But of course, for some reason, he only wanted to make a 5-minute response video to Dream's singular tweet, which I guess for one tweet is fine, but just in general, if he really had all that dirt on Dream, then why didn't he go into more detail? I just don't get it. Of course, I already said that there is definitely wrong on both parties. and I'm not trying to say one's more right than the other. I just personally think that Dream is way more intellectual with his arguments, and just in general a wiser person. And of course, like, I'm not saying Dream isn't like a manipulator, because I like, it wouldn't shock me if he is. Like, I don't think necessarily either of these guys are great people, to be honest. Tommy, like, for a long time seemed like a pretty decent kid, but in the reality he's just really just a spoiled brat. Dream, we just don't know enough about him in reality to just make that assumption. Like, he's obviously really good at, well, was really good at Minecraft. I can't really attest to that anymore. But other than that, for a long time, and really even now, we just don't know a lot about Dream in general. And Tommy trying to say all these things about Dream after a lot of people know what his reputation is and some of the stuff he's done, and then us obviously not knowing a lot about Dream and him having virtually no evidence to back up his claims, it just makes you think that Dream is just all more in the right. So that's the biggest reason why I'm taking Dream's side on this one, simply because of that. But even if they're all wrong, the great Technoblade once said, I can't wait for a day in the far, far future when everyone is canceled and I'm just there," which, honestly, Technoblade will never get canceled now, because he is, well, you know, rest in peace, King. Anyway, that's going to be it for this yapping session, and keep God first, fellas. I'll see you all in the next one. Yeah, that's just my opinion. Bye-bye.